Kenjaku orchestrated the Shibuya Incident with pristine precision. He waited for the exact moment the strongest sorcerer was distracted. His entire master plan relied on one massive, undeniable gamble. He desperately needed the second strongest sorcerer to be thousands of miles away. What if Yuta Okkotsu landed from his Africa trip a day early? The balance of the Jujutsu world shifts in an instant. In Chapter 90, Kenjaku lays out the intricate conditions required to seal Satoru Gojo. The prison realm is a fleshy, living barrier. It needs 1 minute of brain time from the target to process the capture. To get that 1 minute, Kenjaku has to break Gojo mentally. He needs the horrific shock of seeing Suguru Gido alive and functioning. That emotional paralysis cannot happen if an uncontrollable variable disrupts the tightly woven timeline. Yuta Okkotsu is the ultimate uncontrollable variable. Kenjaku knew this deep down. He made sure Yuta was safely occupied dealing with Miguel in Africa, searching for the remnants of the Black Rope. Kenjaku claims to disregard Yuta as a threat, but that is a calculated lie meant to soothe the disaster curses. Kenjaku fears boundless cursed energy because it breeds unpredictable, volatile outcomes that 1,000 years of meticulous planning cannot account for. It is the evening of October 31st. The curtain falls over Shibuya. Tens of thousands of civilians are trapped within the ward. The assistant managers set up their perimeters outside the veil. Yuta steps out of a transport vehicle near Shibuya Station. He feels the suffocating, toxic weight of curses pressing down on the city streets. He does not wait for a formal briefing. He does not wait for Kiyotaka Ejichi to give him the green light or explain the barrier conditions. Yuta acts on pure, unfiltered instinct. He knows Gojo is inside. He knows the sheer volume of malicious cursed energy radiating from the underground means something catastrophic is unfolding right now. Yuta bypasses the police tape and the panicked crowds. He approaches the secondary veil designed specifically to keep sorcerers out while trapping non-sorcerers inside. We know from the official manga statements that Yuta possesses an absurd pool of cursed energy. It surpasses even the immense reserves of Satoru Gojo. Yuta channels that dense, overwhelming energy to shatter the barrier's entry conditions by sheer force. He forces his way into the structure. He descends into the labyrinth of the subway lines. He skips the upper commercial levels and the ticketing gates entirely. He can sense the raw malice radiating from the bottom floor. The B5F platform of the Fukutashin line. He moves like a ghost through the descending stairwells, ignoring the minor transfigured humans wandering the upper floors. His target is the core of the anomaly. Down on the lowest platforms, Mahito and Choso are preparing their phase of the coordinated attack. They are waiting patiently to corner Gojo and force him into a brutal war of attrition. They are waiting to unleash their horde of transfigured humans to test the limits of the limitless technique. But the air in the tunnel grows impossibly heavy. A chilling, oppressive presence floods the underground space. It is not the pristine, refined aura of Satoru Gojo. It is something darker and far more raw. It is the lingering scent of a monstrous curse. Yuta steps out of the shadows near the tracks. He calmly draws his katana. Mahito smiles his trademark sadistic grin. Mahito assumes this is just another arrogant Jujutsu High student sent to die. He does not realize he is looking at the reigning special grade sorcerer who defeated Suguru Gido. Mahito lunges forward with erratic, unnatural movements. He reaches out with his bare, stitched hand to activate idol transfiguration. Mahito wants to distort Yuta's soul and add him to his grotesque collection of fleshy weapons. Mahito's palm makes direct physical contact with Yuta's forearm. Nothing happens. The curse technique fails. Let us look closely at the established lore for why this transfiguration fails to take hold. In Chapter 22, Kento Nanami survives a direct touch from Mahito. Nanami subconsciously protects his soul with a dense layer of cursed energy. Nanami is a grade 1 sorcerer with standard, impressive reserves. Now take that concept of subconscious protection and multiply it by a factor of 50. Yuta possesses more cursed energy than any modern sorcerer alive. His body is constantly cloaked in a dense, impenetrable armor of raw power. Mahito's cursed technique simply cannot pierce that dense armor to reach the soul beneath. The idol transfiguration fizzles out like a dying spark. Mahito realizes with mounting horror that his technique is useless against a reservoir of power this deep. Before Mahito can retreat to rethink his strategy, a massive, clawed hand materializes from the dark shadows behind Yuta. It crushes Mahito against the cold subway tiles. Rika appears in her partial form. She does not need Yuta to summon her for basic, reflexive defense. As established later in the Sendai Colony arc, Rika acts autonomously to protect Yuta from lethal threats. Her defense of Yuta's physical body and soul is undeniable and terrifying. Rika shrieks. The horrific sound vibrates through the reinforced concrete walls. Choso freezes in his tracks. The death-painting womb understands the primal hierarchy of curses. He knows instantly that they are outmatched by a superior predator. Choso claps his hands together and activates convergence. He fires a piercing blood. The highly condensed beam of toxic blood shoots towards Yuta at the speed of sound. Yuta does not bother to dodge. He swings his cursed katana in a fluid arc. He channels his monstrous cursed energy into the folded steel and deflects the blood beam straight into the ceiling. The concrete shatters under the brutal impact. Choso is stunned into silence. Piercing blood is his ultimate, fastest attack. Yuta brushed it away like a minor, irritating nuisance. Yuta steps forward under the flickering fluorescent lights. His eyes are cold and intensely focused. He looks at the mutilated bodies of the transfigured humans scattered across the platform. He feels the terror and suffering of the innocent civilians trapped behind the cursed barricades. Yuta knows he cannot fight a prolonged, tactical battle here without causing massive collateral damage to the people he is trying to save. He remembers the rigorous lessons Gojo taught him about controlling his output and minimizing casualties. But this horrific situation requires a different, ruthless approach. This situation requires raw dominance to end the fight instantly. Yuta decides to finish this confrontation right now. He slips his silver ring onto his finger. He calls her name with grim determination. Come, Rika. The full manifestation sequence begins. The strict 5-minute timer starts ticking. The entire B5F platform shakes. The Queen of Curses erupts into the physical world in her true grotesque majesty. Her colossal form fills the subway station, scraping the high ceilings. The massive concrete pillars crack and splinter under the sheer pressure of her spiritual presence. The remaining transfigured humans disintegrate into ash just by standing too close to her radiating aura. Mahito and Choso are paralyzed by the sheer scale of the power before them. They thought they were the apex predators of this modern era. They thought the disaster curses were the pinnacle of cursed energy evolution. Now they are staring up at a genuine historical anomaly. They realize with crushing despair that they are fighting a two-front war against special-grade monsters. Yuta provides the surgical, lethal strikes with his blade. Rika provides the overwhelming, indiscriminate devastation. Mahito desperately splits his body into dozens of tiny clones to escape the slaughter. He scatters them across the steel train tracks, hoping at least one fragment survives. Rika opens her massive, jagged mouth. She fires a concentrated blast of pure cursed energy. The brilliant beam incinerates the tracks and melts the surrounding metal. It vaporizes half of Mahito's clones in a single microsecond. Mahito feels true existential terror for the first time since his birth. He realizes his very soul is taking irreparable damage from the sheer destructive output of the blast. He cannot adapt his form fast enough. He cannot transfigure his way out of this overwhelming onslaught. Choso tries to use supernova to create a desperate smokescreen. He detonates his compressed blood orbs in all directions. Rika swats through the bloody explosion with a single, sweeping swipe of her massive arm. She ignores the corrosive effects of the toxic blood. She grabs Choso by the torso. She pins him to the cracked ground. Yuta stands over the defeated death painting. He raises his blade, but he does not strike the killing blow immediately. Yuta senses a strange, familiar resonance within Choso. He senses the lingering, complex ties to Yuji Itadori. Yuta spares him for the moment, knocking him unconscious with a blunt strike to the neck. His focus must remain entirely on the greater threat orchestrating this nightmare. A few levels above the carnage, Kenjaku is waiting patiently by the sealed prison realm. He is holding the grotesque cube in his hands. He is preparing his mind for Satoru Gojo to arrive. But Kenjaku feels the massive tectonic shift in cursed energy echoing from the lower platforms. He recognizes that monstrous, suffocating signature instantly. He fought that exact same power decades ago while possessing the body of Suguru Gido during the night parade of 100 demons. Kenjaku realizes his flawless, heavily curated timeline is broken beyond repair. He explicitly needed Gojo to be exhausted from fighting the disaster curses and the transfigured humans. He needed Gojo to be pushed to his mental and emotional limit before springing the trap. But the disaster curses are being slaughtered like common fodder on the lower levels. The screaming civilians have gone eerily silent under Rika's immense protection. The transfigured human army is turning to dust. Kenjaku knows Gojo will arrive fresh, unbothered, and incredibly furious. Gojo will arrive without the emotional fatigue required for the one-minute trap to work effectively. Kenjaku starts to sweat. The ancient mastermind who plotted in the shadows for 1,000 years is finally backed into a desperate corner. He has no other viable choice. He must intervene directly and permanently to stop Yuta Okkotsu. If Yuta manages to reach Gojo and warn him, the entire prison realm plan fails spectacularly. Kenjaku drops down through the maintenance shafts to the B5F platform. He steps into the flickering light of the ruined station. He reveals the scarred face of Suguru Gido to the boy who killed him. This decision is Kenjaku's critical, fatal error. Kenjaku wanted to save this horrific reveal exclusively for Satoru Gojo. He needed the emotional shock to paralyze the legendary Six Eyes. By showing himself to Yuta first, the vital element of surprise is squandered. Yuta stares at the man who tormented him and his friends years ago. Yuta vividly remembers killing Gido. He remembers the blood and the finality of that snowy day. "You are not him," Yuta says. His voice is eerily calm and devoid of panic. Yuta's instincts are razor sharp. He does not have the omnipotent vision of the Six Eyes, but his deep connection to Rika gives him a profound understanding of souls. He knows Gido's original soul is gone, replaced by a parasitic entity. Kenjaku smiles, but it is a strained, anxious smile. He activates cursed spirit manipulation. He unleashes thousands of high-grade curses from his massive, hidden inventory. He floods the wide subway tunnel with a tidal wave of grotesque, chattering monsters. He hopes the sheer, suffocating volume will slow Yuta down long enough for Gojo to walk into the upper trap. He hopes he can stall out the strict 5-minute timer governing Rika's full manifestation. But Kenjaku vastly underestimated the intense growth of Yuta Okkotsu over the past year. He underestimated how flawlessly Yuta and Rika fight as a synchronized unit. Rika acts as the ultimate impenetrable shield. She tears through the cursed spirits like wet tissue paper. She crushes the higher-grade curses in her jaws, destroying them before they can activate their innate domains. Yuta reaches into Rika's massive chest cavity and pulls out a megaphone. It is a cursed tool inscribed with the snake and fang seal. Yuta uses Toge Inomaki's cursed speech. He channels his boundless, overwhelming energy through the device to amplify its devastating range. Crumble away. A massive, invisible shockwave rips through Kenjaku's swarming curse army. Hundreds of advanced spirits disintegrate into fine dust in an instant. Kenjaku grits his teeth in sheer frustration. He prepares to use his ultimate move, Maximum Uzumaki. He needs to condense his remaining most powerful spirits into a single, devastating blast of raw energy to match Yuta's terrifying output. Before Kenjaku can form the swirling spiral of cursed energy, the reinforced ceiling above them shatters inward. Large chunks of concrete and steel rebar rain down on the ruined tracks. Satoru Gojo descends through the thick dust cloud. Gojo floats down with his black blindfold removed. His glowing, piercing blue eyes lock onto Kenjaku standing amidst the massive rubble. Gojo looks at the gruesome stitches marking his dead best friend's forehead. The shock hits him hard. The treasured memories of his fleeting youth flood his brilliant mind. Gojo freezes in place. This is the exact, precise moment Kenjaku needed to secure the victory. This is the crucial 1 minute of brain time required to seal the strongest sorcerer. But Kenjaku does not have the prison realm ready. He dropped the dormant cube on the upper levels when he rushed down in a blind panic to fight Yuta. The intricate trap is incomplete and utterly useless. Gojo snaps out of his momentary daze. He sees Yuta standing resolute on the platform. He sees Rika roaring in the deep background. Gojo processes the chaotic situation instantly. His six eyes feed him the absolute truth of the cursed energy signatures. He understands that an ancient impostor has defiled and stolen Gido's body. The furious anger radiating from Gojo drops the ambient temperature in the cavernous room to freezing. Kenjaku is now hopelessly trapped between the two strongest sorcerers of the modern era. He is facing the absolute pinnacle of Jujutsu, the limitless, and the boundless potential of the copy technique. He is facing the unmatched processing power of the Six Eyes and the unrivaled brute force of the Queen of Curses. Kenjaku tries to activate an anti-gravity technique. He tries to escape upward through the fresh hole in the rubble. Gojo raises his hand with terrifying, godlike speed. Curse technique reversal red. The concentrated blast of repelling force slams Kenjaku into the far reinforced concrete wall. The impact creates a massive, deep crater. Kenjaku's bones shatter under the immense pressure. He coughs up blood, his cursed spirit manipulation breaking focus. Yuta does not hesitate for a fraction of a second. He lunges forward while Kenjaku is pinned to the wall. Yuta raises his megaphone again, pouring his immense cursed energy into the voice projection. He commands Kenjaku with unquestionable authority, "Do not move." Kenjaku's broken body locks up entirely. The dense cursed speech binds his muscles and nervous system, overriding his immense cursed energy defenses due to his heavily weakened state. Gojo walks forward slowly. He does not smile his usual arrogant grin. He does not make a light-hearted joke. Gojo is pure focused wrath. He stops right in front of the paralyzed impostor. Gojo places his hand directly on Kenjaku's chest, right over his beating heart. "You picked the wrong era to wake up," Gojo whispers. Gojo unleashes hollow purple at point-blank range. The sphere of imaginary mass erases everything in its direct path. It obliterates Kenjaku. It obliterates the stolen, defiled body of Suguru Gido, granting his best friend final peace. The ambitious thousand-year plan is dismantled in a matter of intense minutes. The terrifying disaster curses are eradicated from Shibuya. The catastrophic Shibuya incident ends before it even truly begins. The entire trajectory of the Jujutsu world is forever changed, all because a single, delayed flight landed early.